Hello and welcome to Dialogue of Civilisations. In an age of polarisation and multipolarisation these days, when societies grapple with divisions and international order seems to have grown increasingly diffuse, prejudice has taken on institutional forms. Prejudice is no longer expressed merely by means of crude slogans and overt acts, but actually by means of media framing, bureaucratic practices, and institutional mechanisms which are incredibly subtle. And today I'm honoured and delighted to have the opportunity to converse about this very intriguing and evolving subject with my guest, who is Ambassador Antonio de Almeida Ribeiro, Acting Secretary General of King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz International Center for Interreligious and Intercultural Dialogue. Ambassador, what a great honor to welcome you.
Thank you for the invitation. My pleasure.
A great honor to welcome you here in Azerbaijan. And I'd like to start our conversation with a very basic and one may say very sort of a cliche sort of question. But I think that however simple it may sound, there is substance to it. Do you believe that polarization, and now we talk about multipolarization, sort of have assumed a shape wherein it's no longer basing on crude, but it's more deep, entrenched, and somewhat based on unconscious sort of bias mechanisms as well?
Yes, I do. I think reality shows that things are different and worse than they were not long ago. So this is a fact, and we have to deal with that and try to find how to overcome this problem.
And do you think that the problem is not particularly sort of exclusively connected with Islam? Of course, we discussed extensively during this conference the issues related to fighting Islamophobia, but sort of we are in the age of phobias. Everybody is very much concerned about protecting its own national identity. Novelties seem to cause problems. They sort of militate against our key sensibilities. It looks like that we are in the age of isms and phobias. Does it look like so to you as well?
It does. I agree with you. It's not only Islamophobia, there are so many phobias. And it's perhaps a strange new situation, because I don't think that this was the case 20 years ago or even less. But now it's a reality of every day that we have to face, and we have to challenge this and to avoid that this is getting worse. And we have to do everything to combat this.
What has happened over the past 2 decades? Because as you said, 2 decades ago, it looked like that inclusivity, diversity were all very much celebrated. They did not seem to be cause of perturbation for anybody. It looks like that the balance has been lost along the way. What is your evaluation? What happened? Why diversity and inclusivity are no longer as celebrated as they used to be?
It's difficult to find the causes, I would say. The movements of migration have grown so much in the last few years that this has created, I think, inevitably differences and has deepened the gaps between the different communities. I think this is perhaps one of the most important causes of the current situation.
And do you consider current situation as natural, inevitable, or do you think that something might have been done to sort of limit its extreme elements, or do you think it's just a natural way of evolution?
I think history repeats, and we have witnessed in the past similar situations, so it's nothing new, completely new it's not. So we have to see how we can settle this and overcome this problem. I think that we know well the lessons from the past. We learned lessons, and we should avoid repeating the same problems in the future.
If talk about today, our current the current stage of human evolution and the general sort of a process, how would you define the essence of modern clash? I mean, when you say that there is a clash happening and we're observing that particular clash, who are the key participants, who are the key players of this civilizational clash, if there is a civilizational clash? Maybe it's not of civilizational nature.
Some defend that there is a civilization clash. I would prefer seeing it as an opportunity to promote dialogue, because we have to live together. We have no alternative. The world, the globe, is for all of us. So we have to live and together and with the others, even if we think differently, and if we have different religions, or if we have different cultures. The world is for all of us. So we have to avoid that this will turn into a war or to a clash, or that tensions aggravate because we are not able to speak with the others.
Quite often, European scholars, not all of them, of course, in particular those inclined towards, sort of a conservative thinking, sort of based on national identity, they say that they are perfectly in favor of cultural diversity. They believe that diversity should be celebrated, but not at the expense of losing one's own European identity. Quite often, I can't remember his exact name, but he said that you go to big European capitals, you see that the parent culture is no longer there. So what they say is that it's a construct wherein all the different cultural elements should be present, but provided that the parent culture acts as a glue, is keeping everything together. And they're concerned about it. Do you think it's a legitimate concern?
I think it is, but it's not inevitable. Until recently, I think different communities would live in European countries in a very open and communitarial environment. Recently, things have changed, perhaps with the new generations of migrants that had different perception and more difficulties to integrate the societies that they are where they are now living. This was not happening in the past. So I see countries like in Portugal, for example, I witness and I hear the difficulties that the newcomers have to integrate the society as the other communities who were before could do it.
Do you think it's a question of numbers? Because before they were coming in a limited, sort of not in so great numbers, and it's easy for them to integrate. So
that's true, but it's not only the question of numbers. I mean, it's a different mentality, perhaps, from those that are coming now. But we have to make an effort to integrate them. We need them for our labor, for our enterprises, for our companies, for our fields. So we have to do everything we can to make them feel comfortable in our countries and respect mutually the differences and the different approaches to the values that each of them share.
More specifically about Islamophobia, it was said here in Azerbaijan, within the confines of this conference, that Islamophobia, the instances of Islamophobia have increased not just numerically, but also they've been aggravated. So they assumed a more toxic, more perilous sort of shape over the past 2-3 years. Do you concur with this assessment?
I think so. I think it's a fact also that this is a reality now. I think, on the other hand, that it's so important that those that believe in peace spread the message that Islam is a religion of peace, of mercy, of compassion, of dialogue. And this is essential, that the leaders of the different communities reiterate their will to dialogue, to peace. Peace should be a common goal of every religion, and we have to take that for granted, but we have to fight for that as well.
And when you look at what is happening in Azerbaijan, which is a sort of a unique country with multiple identities, it is a member of the wider European family. President Ilham Aliyev recently was in attendance at the EPC, European Political Community. Azerbaijan, member of different European institutions, but at the same time, Azerbaijan is a member of the Turkic world. Azerbaijan is a member of the Islamic world. There are multiple identities. What do you make of Azerbaijan? And do you think it could be regarded in one way or another as a model of coexistence?
I think it is a model of coexistence, and I praise Azerbaijan and its government to promote for promoting initiatives like this one, in which they show respect and they show the will that dialogue is essential among the different cultures and religions. I think Azerbaijan is a good example for the world.
We talked about clash, we talked about clash of civilizations, clash of cultures, confrontation. We talked about dialogue. Do you see dialogue as a civilized competition still? So you're no longer fighting against each other, but you're sort of conversing in a civilized way, wherein there is still element of cooperation, but also competition.
We have to fight for dialogue. Dialogue is essential. The alternative is war, is conflict, is tension. And who wants conflict and war or tension? Who prefers this to dialogue? I think if we are reasonable, we have to promote dialogue. It's the only way to avoid a worse world.
Ambassador, I'm so grateful to you for your time and for this very, very interesting conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.